His successor, Antiochus III's successor, Seleucus IV Philopater, I don't know how you pronounce these words, 187 to 175 BC, will send out a tax collector to maintain the royal splendor. And that is a guy named Heliodorus, who is his tax collector. In a few years, however, he will be destroyed, but yet not in anger or in battle. The tax collector probably killed Seleucus IV after a 12-year reign. Now, 12 years to me doesn't seem like that short, but the previous guy had like a 33-year long reign or something like that, 37-ish year long reign or something like that. So relatively short in comparison to Antiochus III. So Seleucus IV comes and goes. His tax collector conspires against him and kills him. And he will be succeeded by a contemptible person who has not been given the honor of royalty. This is Antiochus IV Epiphanes, manifest. He rules from 175 to 163 BC. He had been a hostage in Rome after Antiochus III lost to Rome, but he gets set free somehow and he comes back, and now he is going to take over the kingdom. Now, we read about this guy already in Daniel 8. He was the little horn that grew up on one of the four horns that took the place of the prominent horn of the Grecian Empire. So you had the Grecian Empire personified in the person of Alexander the Great, a prominent horn on the head of the goat. It got broken off and replaced by four horns, and out of one of them grew another horn, a little horn. Chapter 8, verse 9, out of one of those four horns, so this would be the Seleucid horn here, the king of the north, in the language of Daniel 11, came another horn, which started small, but grew in power to the south and to the east and toward the beautiful land. It grew till it reached the host of the heavens. Now, again, that doesn't mean the heavenly host. And it threw some of the starry host down to earth and trampled on them. That just means of the righteous people of Israel. It's not the angels. It set itself up to be as great as the prince of the host. It wanted to be worshipped as God, in other words. It took away the daily sacrifice from him, which he's going to do. We'll talk about that in a moment here. And the place of his sanctuary was brought low. He didn't destroy the temple, but he defiled it and dedicated it to Zeus, or Jupiter. Because of rebellion, the host of the saints and the daily sacrifice were given over to it for 3.5 years, or however long. It prospered in everything it did, and truth was sown on the ground. That's for 2,300 days, or 2,300 evenings and mornings, which we talked about maybe 2,300 days, or maybe 2,300 evening and morning sacrifices, which would be 1,150 days. So that's that guy. We're talking about him again now. We are now back up in chapter 11, verse 21. We have now reached Antiochus IV. So Seleucus IV, will be succeeded by a contemptible person who has not been given the honor of royalty. The rightful king is a hostage in Rome, a guy named Demetrius. Antiochus had been, but he got free somehow, and Demetrius is still in Rome as a prisoner, or hostage. And so Antiochus is free to be a nuisance in Israel. Then he will invade the kingdom when his people feel secure, and he will seize it through intrigue. Then an overwhelming army will be swept away before him. Both it and a prince, pages here now, of the covenant, that's the high priest of Israel at the time, Onias III, will be destroyed. That's Onias III in 170 BC. Then, after coming to an agreement with him, he will act deceitfully, and with only a few people he will rise to power. This Antiochus IV will. When the richest provinces feel secure, he will invade them, and will achieve what neither his fathers nor his forefathers did. He will distribute plunder, loot, and wealth among his followers. He will plot the overthrow of fortresses, but only for a time. In the Apocrypha, the part of the books that were written between the Testaments that is included in the Catholic Bibles, there are books that cover this period in time, chief among them being 1st and 2nd Maccabees, which cover this period in time when this guy is running wild. With a large army, he will stir up his strength and courage against the king of the south. That is Ptolemy VI Philometor, who reigned from 181 to 146 BC. The king of the south will wage war with a large and very powerful army, but he will not be able to stand because of the plots devised against him. Those who eat from the king's provisions will try to destroy him. His army will be swept away, and many will fall in battle. The two kings, Antiochus IV and Ptolemy VI, will, with their hearts each bent on evil, will sit at the same table and lie to each other, but to no avail, because an end will still come at the appointed time. These kings and their kingdoms are still going to end no matter what, at their appointed time, no matter what they try to do about it. So all their lies and all their deceits and all their plots and all their schemes and all their conspiracies aren't going to amount to anything in the end. The king of the north will return to his country with great wealth. This is Antiochus. But his heart will be set against the Holy Covenant. We read about that in Daniel 8. We're going to read about it here too. He will take action against it and then return to his own country. This is when he's persecuting and oppressing the Jews. At the appointed, which we read more in detail about in Daniel 8. At the appointed time, he will invade the south again. But this time, the outcome will be different from what it was before. Ships of the western coastland, so basically ships from Rome, will oppose him, and he will lose heart. So Rome is starting to nudge into the picture. Then he will turn back and vent his fury against the Holy Covenant. He will return and show favor to those who forsake the Holy Covenant. So he is going to encourage the Jews to apostatize themselves and will show favor to those who do. His armed forces will rise up to desecrate the temple fortress and will abolish the daily sacrifice. They're not going to destroy the temple. This is not a similar situation similar to what Nebuchadnezzar did, and that he's attacking Jerusalem for political reasons and destroys the temple for political reasons. He is doing this purely for religious and theological reasons. He does not like the Jewish God. He does not like the Jewish religion, and he's going to forcefully convert these people into following his God and his religion. Nebuchadnezzar did not do that. The king of Persia didn't do that. This is a different approach. That's one of the reasons why trying to explain away the book of Daniel as having been written in the time of Antiochus Epiphanes doesn't really work, because the situation isn't the same. The people who were suffering under Antiochus IV Epiphanes were not suffering the same kind of problem that Daniel was having in his day. In Daniel's day, it was simply warfare. It was political disagreement. Nebuchadnezzar came upon Jerusalem because the king had betrayed him. The king Zedekiah rebelled against him. That's why he sacked Jerusalem and took the city. It wasn't because he had a deep hatred for the Jewish people or the Jewish religion or the Jewish God. He wanted to get rid of them or forcibly convert them to his own. He wasn't trying to do that. Darius, when he put Daniel in the lion's den, wasn't trying to do that. This guy is trying to do that. This guy is trying to forcibly convert the Jews into giving up their God in a way that we really hadn't seen happen before. Again, the details of this are found in the books of 1st and 2nd Maccabees. 1st Maccabees and 2nd Maccabees. You can find those online. Just go to Google, type in 1st Maccabees, 2nd Maccabees, and it'll be there. Okay, it's not, if you don't have a Bible that has it, this does not have it in it, okay? It's not included in the Bibles that I buy, but it is included in some, so you could get it from that, or you could just go to Google and type it in, and you'll find a link that leads right to it. Okay, the information is there. It's not hard to find. So his armed forces will rise up to desecrate the temple fortress. So they're not going to destroy it, but they are going to desecrate it. They're going to sacrifice a pig there. They're going to set up an altar to Jupiter there, and they will abolish the day of sacrifice. They're going to remove the proper procedures and protocols from there. They will set up the abomination that causes desolation. This is the altar to Zeus, or Jupiter. With flattery, he will corrupt those who have violated the covenant. But the people who know their God will firmly resist him. And again, you can read about that in some of the other books. Those who are wise will instruct many, though for a time they will fall by the sword, or be captured, or burned, or plundered. That doesn't sound fun. But when they fall, they will receive a little help, and many who are not sincere will join them. You read in the books of Maccabees that they had lots of people who would come and go out of their forces. Depending on the circumstances, they would have a lot of people come to help them, and then they would shy away when the times got tough. Some of the wise will stumble, so that they may be refined, purified, and made spotless until the time of the end. For it will still come at the appointed time. This time is going to end. We read in Daniel 8 that's going to last for 2,300 evenings and mornings. Now, I'm not clear whether that means days, like evening and morning in terms of a full day, or sacrifices, an evening sacrifice and a morning sacrifice, meaning 1,150 days. But it's going to happen. It's going to come to an end. The time period has been limited. Okay, so that is Daniel 11, 2 through 35. Now we got to switch to the end of the book of Daniel, 11:36 to the end of chapter 12.